Hello and welcome to What's New Improvements to Data Synchronization using Dataverse. My name is Ivan Koletic, and I'll take you through some of the exciting new features and improvements we've added in the Release Wave 1 2022 to this area. I'm a product manager in Yannick's organization, responsible for data synchronization way of integrating with Dataverse and Dynamics 365 for sales. Okay. Our agenda today is packed with new value for our customers. We'll start with a couple of smaller improvements in connection setup that now includes setup for virtual tables. Then I'll talk about how you can now map option sets such as payment terms, shipping agents, and shipping methods without code. After going through slides, I'll do a short demo of these. We'll finish with what and how to deal with deprecation of legacy authentication, which is just around the corner, followed by one feature that's coming soon and resources. There are two ways to get your data to and from Dataverse with Business Central: data synchronization and virtual tables. You may ask yourself, but when do I use data synchronization and when do I use virtual tables? The short answer is these are ways of integrating to Dataverse that actually complement each other. As they work hand in hand, it makes sense to have a unified setup experience for them. Including currency symbols with amounts makes it easier to visually scan and understand financial figures. If your Business Central is integrated with Microsoft Dataverse, you can now also synchronize currency symbols between two apps. Businesses that use multi-line text in descriptions of documents such as orders or invoices can now synchronize multiple text field data to and from Business Central. Payment terms, shipment methods, and shipping agents can change along with the environments in which businesses operate. To react quickly to the changing business conditions, businesses must be able to quickly and cost-effectively change their payment, shipping, or freight policies across their business systems. With the current design, this was only possible through customization, where you would need a developer to change the code when you introduced, for example, a new payment term. On Business Central side, payment terms, shipping agents, and shipment methods are data, and on Dataverse side, option set that these represent are part of metadata. So if you enable map option sets in Dataverse without code feature in feature management, you will no longer need to do code customizations to synchronize payment terms, shipment methods, and freight terms. Payment terms, shipment methods, and shipping agents are now handled through a standard integration table mappings. You can now view which payment terms, shipment methods, and shipping agents are coupled using coupled in Dataverse column, as with any other data that is being synchronized. You can synchronize those using synchronize action, couple or delete them by choosing coupling, setup coupling, or delete coupling actions, or do a match-based coupling by choosing the match-based coupling action. And now for the demos. So let's start from feature management. Both currency symbol and map option sets in Dataverse need to be enabled in feature management before they are used. So let's enable them. That's one down. Let's take this one. Let's accept and update. That's it. Let's now run assisted setup guide for setting up Dataverse connection setup. We'll enable data synchronization and virtual tables. In the version I'm using, there's a wrong caption for virtual tables, but this checkbox needs to be enabled to enable them. Click Next. We will consent to sharing data with another Microsoft service, that is Dataverse. We will select or enter the URL to the Dataverse environment and sign in with administrator, user. All good so far. I'm signed in as admin. Let's click Next. So I'll keep the default ownership model so I don't have to map salespeople, and let's continue with synchronization. Okay, so let's review the sync recommendations. Since I don't have contacts, currency, customer, or vendor, the full synchronization is recommended, but for the option sets like payment terms, shipment methods, and shipping agents, I'll select coupling criteria. I'll say create new if not found, and I'll just do that for all three of those. Now let's confirm. As I've already installed the Business Central Virtual Table app, I don't really need to do anything. Otherwise, you can click on this link that will take you to the app source from where you can install the Business Central Virtual Table app, which is sort of a prerequisite for enabling the virtual table connection from Assisted Setup Guide. So I'll just click Finish to start the initial sync and the connection to Dataverse. So now that we closed the initial synchronization review page, let's see what's new in the Dataverse connection setup page regarding virtual tables. So when you open the Dataverse connection setup page, what you'll notice there's an additional checkbox to enable business events and virtual tables, and you will notice a new action group called virtual tables. From here, you can open a page that will take you to the app source page of the Business Central Virtual Tables app, from where you can install the app. You can see the virtual tables configuration directly from Business Central, and you can actually see available tables which you might want to make visible through as virtual tables directly from the Maker portal. And here you can see the Business Central tables that are exposed as virtual tables. All you need to do is make them visible, and that's it. And the last thing I want to show in here is Virtual Tables Azure AD app page. An action. This app is used to connect Business Central to Dataverse for the virtual table purposes. And in here you can see some parameters, and you can enable or disable it. Now let's create a new shipment method. Let's call it FOB Copenhagen. And let's just synchronize that to Dataverse. I want to create new. Okay. So now the synchronization has been scheduled. I can give you the details. Shows up as any other synchronization. One is inserted, and all we have to do is check it in on the Dataverse side. Okay, so now I'm here in the Dataverse Maker portal. So we'll check the account table because the shipping methods are mapped to freight terms. Remember to refresh the page because this is the metadata that we are syncing in. And if you have a look, the FOB CPH is currently synced. And let's do one last thing. I'm here in the Sales Hub. I've prepared a sales order, which I want to use to demonstrate a multi-line text. As you can see in the description, the text in the description field is multi-line. So let me submit an order. Let's go back to Business Central, refresh the page, and let's create this order in Business Central. And as you can see, the description field has been mapped to work description, and you can actually see the multi-line text was transferred correctly. So to recap the demos, you saw Assisted Setup Guide that can now help you set up Business Central virtual tables and match-based coupling of option sets. You also saw you can access virtual table configuration from Dataverse connection setup page. And in one of the demos, I've shown you the shipment method in Business Central sync to Dataverse. You also saw how you can now sync multi-line text fields with Dataverse and Dynamics 365 for sales. So let's get back to the slides for a few more topics that remain. In February 2020, Dataverse team announced deprecation of legacy Office 365 username and password way of connecting to Dataverse. Business Central team made an alternative way of connecting to Dataverse already in June 2020 with version 16.2. Dataverse team is already rolling out this deprecation for the past 2 years. Currently, only if you have existing Dataverse environments, you can still connect to them using username and password for very, very limited amount of time. And new Dataverse environments no longer support username and password authentications from April last year. In December last year, the Business Central team notified all the affected Business Central online customers using unsupported way of connecting to Dataverse to upgrade their connection to OAuth 2 and certificate-based authentication. We sent a communication to administrators using Microsoft 365 Message Center. In April 2022, legacy Office 365 username and password way of connecting to Dataverse will be deprecated. So what happens in April? If you are still using legacy Office 365 username and password way of connecting to Dataverse, your Business Central environment set to synchronize data will stop doing that. You'll find synchronization job queue entries in error state with the following error message. We also provide you with a link to documentation and what to do when this happens in the error message. If you're running Business Central online, all you need to do is go to Dataverse connection setup and click use certificate authentication action, sign it with your administrator connection, administrator credentials, and that's it. In on-premise deployments, what you need to do depends on the version that you are using. For Business Central on-premise deployments that use versions 16.2 and above, that's 2020 release wave 1 June update, you'll need to register an application in Azure Active Directory and change authentication type to OAuth 2 in your Dataverse and Dynamics 365 connection setup, and you'll be good to go. For Business Central on-premises deployments that use versions below 16.2, you'll also need to register an application in your Azure Active Directory and change the authentication type to OAuth in your Dataverse and Dynamics 365 connection setup page, and you should be good to go. Details on how to do any of these things are behind the links on this slide and in the resources section as well. In one of the upcoming updates, we'll be shipping a bidirectional synchronization of sales orders. As you know, we currently rely on Dynamics 365 sales order integration process to synchronize sales orders. It will still be available as it is still useful in some business-to-business scenarios and for customers that want to continue using it, but we'll be supplementing it with a new feature which won't rely on this rigid way of handling sales orders. That should allow for more flexibility and better handling of business-to-customer scenarios. You'll now have proper integration table mappings. You'll be able to extend them together with more flexible way of sending sales order data in both directions. To work with this feature, sales order archiving will be needed and enabled, so we can keep track of sales order versions as they are synchronized. More details will come soon as a part of the release plan we've already created for this. And speaking about the release plans, here are some of the resources you can use to get more information about the features I've just shown. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the Business Central launch event. Thank you.